So I'm going to do my best to give these one word or one sentence answers.
So,
my biggest lesson of 2020 was,
is,
this year.
Contentment for the things I have, and patience for the things that I can't control.
Patience.
Resilience, patience, and an acknowledgement of loved ones and friends, real friends.
The value of time. I learned how important it is to divide my time equally and to make sure I give adequate time to everything that I've invested in.
To taking time to counting our blessings, being grateful for who we have, what we have, and the time that we have.
The time to devote to things that I'm interested in other than medical school. So I think the main thing that I've learned is really what I enjoy, what I don't enjoy, and actually had that opportunity to find myself again.
Is to take opportunities that are available to you.
Opportunities lead to more opportunities.
To expect nothing, appreciate everything, as you don't know what tomorrow holds.
To be more comfortable with life being so unpredictable.
To be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And also in this moment right now, I must say,
Is to always be adaptable. I think we've all seen how we can't quite predict what the world might throw at us. But usually, as long as you keep looking for it, there are positives to be found.
just how adaptable people can be. I think you're often so anxious about starting projects, about starting initiatives, about introducing changes to your workplace or to your university because you're worried about buy-in, or you're worried about people having to change. But this year, because everything was changing constantly, we really learned that people are way more amenable to change than they perceive themselves to be, or at least than I perceived them to be. And so really the big thing I need to do is create better incentives or have better reasons for asking people to change. But yeah, people's capacity to adapt has been a big lesson for the year.
We all, and certainly I do, like to try and plan for the future and try to control things. But realistically, this year has been a good learning point to remind me that I can't always do that. And so I'm really trying to learn the art of adaptability.
The importance of adaptability. You just never know what's going to come around the corner.
Let go of expectations and plans and how to be a bit more flexible and go with the flow, taking each day as it comes.
There's absolutely no point in over planning and putting too many, pinning too much hope and happiness on the future. And then actually if you just live in the now and make the present moment the best that it possibly can be, then the future will all fall into place and you'll be happier for it.
When to surrender. Just sometimes you can't do everything and you just literally need to surrender to, your superiors, your parents, to a higher power.
That it's okay to not do something and to not be busy all the time and just be comfortable with doing nothing.
That you can have your side projects as an outlet for the stuff that you want to do but can't do in your normal job.
A lot can be learned and a lot can be accomplished just by staying indoors.
I learned how much fun you can have using Zoom or Microsoft Teams to teach as well as to socialize.
Well, social media isn't a substitute for human physical contact and seeing someone in person.
Is that working from home is not all it's cracked up to be, and that I'm much happier seeing patients than I am sitting at my laptop.
To not take anything for granted.
I am stronger than I give myself credit for.
Not to be afraid to ask for help.
The vulnerability of humanity. This year, like never before, I have come to understand that human beings are not invincible machines, but we are very much vulnerable to the circumstances of life.
Is that barriers to success are often self-constructed, and that self-belief is more powerful than you imagine.
To remember that we are all bring something different to the table, and something very powerful, and to believe in ourselves and our unique contribution, and to continue to be authentic and true to ourselves.
Compassion, how much we all have when the situation really, really requires it of us.
I've learned a lot about the reality of people. I've learnt that how impressive people can be and how
resilient they can be, and in the face of incredible adversity, they really do try and pull together and try and help each other solve problems.
The importance of being grateful and to really appreciate the people that you love in your life and to tell them that you love them.
Surround yourself with good people.
Understanding the importance of international medical collaboration, teamwork and resilience when tackling a global pandemic as healthcare practitioners.
Working as a frontline worker in the middle of this pandemic earlier this year made me appreciate the importance of maintaining a positive and healthy attitude while working with the other members of my team and really pushing the boundaries of our collaboration as we overcome this adversity.
There is nothing that is a one-man's job. You are only as strong as your team, and you have to be so adamant about having a strong team on board, making sure that everybody feels valued, making sure that everybody feels important, but most important, actually understanding the dynamics of how your team works and understanding that somebody's 10% is still, is still gem.
Really valuing the teams and the activities that really energise you, particularly with what we've learned through COVID. Things can get very tough, and it's all about being part of really effective teams and doing things that help improve systems and help make things better.
To never trust weather apps. No, I'm joking. It was that all the hours that you put into a project will eventually pay off, even if that's months down the line.
It's that no matter how well you think you have things planned out, the world can still throw you a surprise, and sometimes you just have to accept that you can't control it.
Expect the unexpected.
Unexpected things can be good things. And no, I'm not referring to Corona.
To stay calm in a crisis, and that allowed you to laterally think. That really helped me in the thick of the pandemic, but also it helped me to help my community.
It's always weird sort of talking about accomplishments.
Getting through it, I think, and that is achievement enough for me.
My biggest accomplishment this year has been that I've been able and I've been supported to really create my own journey and to let go of expectations and just see where things will lead.
I think my main accomplishment would be meeting so many amazing people.
So this year I've been so lucky to have crossed paths and worked alongside so many incredible people. I formed new friendships, I formed new alliances, and I got support from places I least expected.
The friendships that I've made and the networks that I've grown.
I was able to develop myself both academically and non-academically. Academically, I was able to establish numerous international research collaborations. While non-academically, I was able to volunteer in Italy during the COVID-19 pandemic, and that was an invaluable experience for me.
This year was completely unplanned. It was to be involved and help lead a community coronavirus support network, which helped thousands of vulnerable people in my constituency, and that helped them have aid, have shopping, things like that. And that was a considerable amount of work, but it was very rewarding, and it really helped the community.
I think it would have to be being national coordinator for a charity during a global pandemic.
Well, it's nothing medical, actually. I've become the president of Durham Castle Senior Common Room. It's the founding college of Durham University. And it's a really exciting time to get involved building the community of undergraduates, postgraduates, and academic, non-academic staff, but also the local community as well, and build some real engagement there between the university and the local community.
I was really, really proud to be voted co-chair of the BMA Medical Students Committee. It's not something I planned or expected, but it's been a great opportunity to serve students and try to make things better for them.
I guess within the charity Men and Medics, being able to have a project supported by BMA Giving, one of the biggest learning curves ever. I'm still learning, still rattled very much now, but the big benefits that has had is the teams that I've been working in, they've been learning so much more new skills, myself included, and I know that those new skills will be invested, several years down the line, so I'm very much happy about that big accomplishment.
I set up Med for All, which is a new medical education organisation which provides practical tips on best supporting various patient groups, and I also built up a team for it.
What I'm most proud of is not really what I've done, but what the people I've been really fortunate to be around and be surrounded by have done. those involved with the HLA have turned the organisation on its head and have made a incredibly vibrant community, even more vibrant through COVID, have worked out how to keep the community as close as ever, have delivered to the new generation of scholars hopefully what they find is a really useful and incredible experience. And we've faced the challenges head on. We haven't shied away from them, and as a group we've managed to really demonstrate what can be done when we come together and work to a common goal. And in this case it is about creating that community for the HLA.
I very much came into this year wanting to develop as a leader. I wanted to develop in this fashion academically, and I was able to attain a master's in health policy, planning and financing, such a mouthful. But I was also able to complete the HLA Scholar Programme, which also provided me with the leadership training that I very much desired from this year.
But I think another big accomplishment, completing the HLA. It was very daunting when I first started, was really timid, really shy. You know, I still am a very introverted person, but I think definitely when I completed it, I've changed so much and I've really improved extensively, and it's really been because of such a really great and strong community at the HLA, so that was a really big accomplishment.
Alongside completing the HLA scholarship and running the Women in Healthcare Leadership 100-word project, I also achieved my Masters in Medical Leadership.
There's quite a few things. I think the main one is what I've achieved within the HLA, and I couldn't have done that without the HLA community.
Is becoming the Assistant Cohort Director for HLA Newcastle.
Getting the HLA blog to 100 posts, becoming a published author, and continue working on my fitness goals.
Graduating as a dentist and running a half marathon and becoming part of the HLA family.
I've been fortunate enough to work this year as a clinical teaching fellow, while also been given the opportunity to work as a scholar within the Healthcare Leadership Academy, allowing me to pursue my interests with regards to widening participation as my project's theme.
Being a Healthcare Leadership Academy scholar was one of them. But secondly, and I think one of the biggest accomplishments of this year for me was to be appointed a trustee for a national charity in the UK.
Be becoming a HLA scholar, also presenting my NHS BAME Strong Women campaign at a national conference.
It was probably getting into the HLA. It's something I never thought I would be accepted into, and also getting started in creating a podcast. That's something I never thought in a million years I would be doing.
Well, I finally started my own podcast. It's called The Medic Philosopher. Check it out, guys.
I launched my podcast, Healthy Discussions, the first episode, and it was great success.
I've been graduating med school. Woo! Class of COVID 2020.
I would say in the light of COVID-19, graduating and becoming a doctor, first doctor in my family.
Just completing med school, I'm just so happy. I thank God that, amidst the pandemic, I was able to successfully, complete my studies.
I became a doctor and I landed my first real job.
I graduated from my master's and I published my first peer-reviewed article, which was great.
Very cliche, I published my first paper, if that counts.
Having my first ever article published in a journal, which is really cool for an aspiring journalist.
This year, during the first lockdown, I started to do more writing and I entered a couple of essay competitions, one of which I won a distinction for, and it's recently been published, so I'm really happy about that.
I started doing yoga every single day and I really enjoyed it and will keep doing it.
My biggest achievement of the year is definitely learning how to surf. And therefore finding some happiness in what has otherwise been a pretty objectively rubbish year.
Being able to run a 5k under 20 minutes. I'm a keen runner, so that was so satisfying.
And most planned thing that I accomplished this year was moving to Glasgow and starting as a doctor. The smallest and most unplanned thing was wild swimming in the middle of December.
My main accomplishment this year, small as it might seem, is to manage to thrive in a new training programme despite the challenging circumstances.
finishing the foundation programme with my sanity intact. Oh, and also getting engaged to my wonderful and tolerant partner.
This year I bought my first home with my fiance, which is amazing.
The thing that I'm happiest to have accomplished this year is getting married during a pandemic, despite having to reschedule it more than once.
My greatest achievement of 2020 has been finally mastering how to successfully cut my husband's hair. It's taken quite a few dodgy haircuts, but I finally got the numbers right and managed to kind of master my shearing skills.
Yeah, resilience. If that is an accomplishment.
Well, I'm very lucky in who I have got to work with over the last 4 years. At Medics.Academy and the HLA, we have got the incredible people that make up our communities, whether that's staff or clinicians, students, and that has been the thing that I've taken away from this year. What I'm most proud of is not really what I've done, but what the people I've been really fortunate to be around and be surrounded by have done. Those involved with the HLA have turned the organisation on its head and have made a incredibly vibrant community, even more vibrant through COVID, have worked out how to keep the community as close as ever, have delivered to the new generation of scholars hopefully what they find is a really useful and incredible experience. And we've faced the challenges head on. We haven't shied away from them, and as a group we've managed to really demonstrate what can be done when we come together and work to a common goal. And in this case it is about creating that community for the HLA.